Welcome family, this is the Velvet Locks back with another video today. This video I want to go into more detail as far as what is NPD, Narcissist Personality Disorder, and why are they the way they are. In order to understand what you're looking for and aware of these type of people, you first have to research and learn the kind of things to look out for in these type of people. NPD is one of several different types of personality disorders. Now, this is a mental disorder that these people tend to have an inflated sense of their own importance, as well as a deep need for excessive attention and admiration. Behind the inflated personality that these people have, behind their mask of confidence, lies a very fragile and vulnerable person. Like I mentioned in my last videos, narcissists have very low self-esteem and sometimes hardly any. And because of this, it causes so many different issues in so many areas of their life, such as relationships, school, employment, financial affairs, work. And because they're constantly in issues with people, they're always unhappy and always disappointed when they don't get that extra attention. They don't get those favors that they're seeking after and that they feel that they deserve. Now, before getting into more of the details of what makes a narcissist, I want to read to you some of the symptoms that you need to look out for, all right? That you need to be aware of when meeting people in general. Now, it says here that signs and symptoms of narcissist personality disorders and the severity of symptoms vary. People with this disorder can have an aggressive sense of self-importance, a sense of entitlement, and require constant excessive admiration, expect to be recognized as superior even without achievements that warrant it. Have you met that person yet? Exaggerated achievements and talents, which means lies. Be preoccupied with fantasies about success, power, brilliance, beauty, or the perfect mate. Believe they are superior and can only associate with equal special people. Monopolize conversations and belittle or look down on people they perceive as inferior. Expect special favors and unquestioning compliance with their expectations. They take advantage of other people to get what they want. They have an inability or unwillingness to recognize the needs and feelings of others. They're envious of other people and believe others envy them. Oh my gosh. They behave in an arrogant or a haughty manner, meaning they're snooty, meaning stush, bougie. Coming across as conceited, boastful, and presumptuous. Insist on having the best of everything. For instance, the best car or office. Need I say more, you guys? That right there speaks a lot about my ex-narcissist. And I'm sure all of you can relate to these as well in the people that you've met. Now, it says, at the same time, people with narcissistic personality disorders have trouble handling anything they perceive as criticism, and they can become impatient or angry when they don't receive special treatment. They have significant interpersonal problems and easily feel slighted. They react with rage or contempt and try to belittle the other person to make themselves appear superior. They have difficulty regulating emotions and behavior. They experience major problems dealing with stress and adapting to change. Oh my gosh. They feel depressed and moody because they fall short of perfection. They have secret feelings of insecurity, shame, vulnerability, and humiliation. Now, reading those, and this is from doing my research, reading those symptoms alone right there, I'm sure that already explained, that already confirmed the behavioral patterns of the people that you've met in your life. There are so many different personality disorders that these people have, that these people show. They wear so many different types of masks that you can be deceived because you're thinking that this person is this way when in fact it's all a big lie. Now, it says also that narcissists are mostly men. There are more men narcissists than there are females. And it often starts in their teens and early childhood years, which means now as an adult, these people are full-blown crazy. One thing thing I want to also address, what causes them to be this way? There are so many different factors that can play into narcissistic personality disorder. And it's a personality disorder, okay? It's brokenness. They've been broken as a child. They've been broken as a young adult or a teen. And it's not something that's only there for, like, say, someone in the military that's been under such mental stress or whatever from war. Because a lot of military and service people, they come out with PTSD. Doesn't necessarily mean that they've had some sort of issues in the military. You usually find a lot of service guys coming back home with that because of what they've experienced overseas. But it's not just that. There's a lot of different factors that can play into somebody having that, such as yourself. Just dealing with a narcissist for a long period of time, you then take on their spirit, their characteristics, and therefore then you become a narcissist. A lot of narcissists are begot from narcissists. Okay? There are a lot of narcissists that are learnt behaviors from other narcissists. So not everybody is from, say, the military and has been through the war and has had these shell shock syndromes that causes all of these anxiety traits, and now they can't function in society now because they've been mentally distorted in some way. Sometimes these things happen in abusive homes as a child. It could be from a parent. All right, these are things that can be genetically transferred. Now, this next thing kind of really explained the kind of narcissist that I was dealing with, where it talks about the complications of narcissistic personality disorders and other conditions that occur along with it. And that can include, of course, you know, relationship difficulties. All of us had that. Problems at work or school. Okay? My ex-narcissist constantly changed jobs. Constantly. Depression and anxiety. Now, this is where I talk about the depression and the anxiety, okay, that you get after a narcissistic, an abusive relationship. You take on their spirit. This is how they are made. They go through depression and anxiety issues when dealing with life. Physical and health problems. When I met my ex-narc, he had high blood pressure and diabetes and was on lots of medication for both of those. Not to mention very bad eating habits. So yeah, physical and health problems. Drug and alcohol misuse. Alright? A lot of narcissists are abusers of drugs. Okay? They have problems. And also suicidal thoughts or behaviors. Now, if you've been on some of my videos, I've told you how my ex-narcissist used to make threats of what he wanted to do to himself. So these people like to do these manipulating tactics because they are broken. They don't know. They don't know how to adapt with stress. Think about it, y'all. If you're in an abusive relationship for a long period of time, and let's say from childhood, whether you was physically abused by your parents or a family member, or raped as a child. Now, as we see in the news, we hear about this Mr. Kelly. I don't want to say his name because then they'll flag this video, who knows, take it down just by the mentioning of that name, because so many other people's videos I'm hearing is getting taken down. But let's talk about the case that's going rampant in the news now about that sex offender, Mr. Kelly, that pedophile, Mr. Kelly, all right, who's a narcissist, who's controlling, who's manipulating and brainwashing his victims. This is what a narcissist do. Now, you know why he's this way? Because it was learned behavior. It was a cursed thing in his family because he was sexually abused by his sister. Some of these narcissists are sexually abused by family members. This is why they are the way they are. It's not only a war illness disorder, something that's put on them from their own family member. It could be a sister. It could be a brother. It could be their own parents. Raped by their own parents as children into their earliest teenage years. Or being abused physically, beat up, neglected. Narcissist begets narcissists. And so if they had a narcissistic parent raising them, this is the family curse that goes on, that continues. Because then now they're a narcissist. And then when they have kids, they're raising kids, and their kids depending on the child, because not everybody comes out that way or deals with situations the same way, but I'm very sure 1 out of 3 is going to become a narcissist or have those traits, have those behavioral issues, have those attitudes and outbursts, self-entitlement personalities. And they may not have been raped by their parent, but because their parent was raped and abused or mistreated in their past, they're putting on to them those emotions, those mentalities, those dysfunctional behaviors onto their children. So it's a cycle, like I said. It's a cycle that they go through. So not everybody has been through the war to get PTSD. A lot of it is learned behavior put on them from their parents or family members. And not everybody, like I said, reacts to things in the same way. Because you can have a narcissistic parent raising 3 or 4 children and not all of them have those traits or characteristics. And then again, not all of them may have went through that same type of abuse. So it's learned behavior depending on the relationship with that family member. Like I said, look at the high-profile case now in the news where Mr. Kelly was raped repeatedly for years by his sister. And this is what he's doing to these victims that he has in his life now. Learned behavior. All right? And just know this, ladies and gentlemen. If it's a sexual abusive relationship that they've had by the hands of their own parent, whether it's a father or mother or brother or sister, not all the time they're going to be free to tell you that information. They may go to their grave with that information. So not all the time you will know the answers to some of the pieces that are missing. This is why these people are the way they are. They've never gotten help for it. And they're walking around earth polluting everybody else because of what happened to them as children. So just know, you guys, look out for the signs, the symptoms that I've mentioned in this video. And be very alert. And if you're in this kind of relationship, you are going to need to do the right thing and get out, because it doesn't get any better. Alright? So thank you so much for joining me on this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe down below. If you want to share your experience, or if you have things that you want to talk about, email me. Okay? And until the next video, I will see you then.